For those of you living in democratic countries, you know that our politicians are supposed to show up to government meetings and advocate for not what they personally want, but for the needs and preferences of the people that they represent. Well, that's how it's supposed to work, at least in theory. And and that same idea of representation, where one person advocates for a group or perspective that isn't actually present in the room, turns out to be really useful in all kinds of business meetings too. Often, when meeting leaders say that they want to get their groups engaged in team meetings, what they're actually after is a way to hear more diverse perspectives in the conversation. So today I'm going to share with you three ways that you can intentionally bring more diverse perspectives into your meetings. One, visit each other's meetings. So if your organization has any trouble with communication across silos, it can be really useful to assign someone from your team to go and sit in on another team's meetings where they will act as a representative for your team's needs and processes, and also learn a little bit more about how that other team works. So this kind of representation, it's a wonderful way to cross pollinate different ideas and perspectives across the organization, and does a great job of starting to break down those barriers and increase information flow across teams. Number two, the voice of the VIP. For some meetings, your team wants to keep in mind the perspective of a group that can't be with you in the room. So, one team that I know does an excellent job of making sure that perspective is represented by literally setting an empty chair at the table. In their case, they really want to make sure that everything they do is keeping the needs of their customers in mind. So, the empty chair with the word customer written on it sits at the meeting table. And as the conversation goes on, team members can gesture to the customer and make references to what that customer needs, keeping them very present in the room in the discussion. Three, playing the advocate. Finally, there are several meeting techniques where team members temporarily adopt a persona and then engage in the discussion from that perspective. The most famous of these is the devil's advocate, where someone plays the devil that points out all of the flaws and risks and problems with whatever it is that you're discussing. Edward de Bono's six thinking hats is a technique that takes this, well, five steps further, with some people taking on additional roles like the fact finder or the wild enthusiast, in addition to the devil's advocate perspective. And some newer techniques like the liberating structures talking with pixies literally has people represent both light perspectives and dark perspectives and all talk at you at the same time, bringing those kinds of ideas very vocally into the room. So, techniques like these work to make it safe and, in fact, expected for teams to say things that they don't normally feel like it's appropriate to say in, well, in a business meeting. And with that, you've got three distinct ways to get broader perspectives into your meetings. Now, the question for you to consider: which critical perspectives is your team missing? Once you know that, use one of these techniques to bring that voice into your meetings.